And so the rest of the nation is on alert now, trying to ensure that there is no further spread of the virus from those Victorian outbreaks. So traffic at the border between Victoria and New South Wales at Albury-Wodonga has significantly eased this morning on day 2 of that border closure. Reporter Ashley Aldridge joins us now from Albury. Ashley, g'day. So how are things looking at the Albury checkpoint today?
Good morning, Joe. Well, I'm sure, as you can probably see behind me, the scenes are dramatically different to what we saw yesterday morning. We haven't seen any of those huge lines of traffic building up back across the border into Victoria. At the moment, there's only a handful of cars and they're being passed through quite quickly. We did speak to New South Wales Police, who are monitoring this checkpoint, and they said that they're putting that down to the fact that people are a bit better prepared today. They've got their permits ready, and those that haven't been able to access a permit have their licence. They say despite it being quite quiet here at the moment, the volume of traffic that has passed through this checkpoint at the moment has doubled on yesterday. And yesterday, during that peak hour period, they checked more than 3,000 cars.
And what are some of the other changes that have been made at the checkpoints?
Yeah, well, as you can probably see again behind me, today they've got 2 lanes open. Yesterday it was just the single lane, which resulted in that massive backlog of cars. They're diverting the cars a bit further up towards the border, splitting them into 2 lanes, which has allowed them to double the amount of police and military officers that are doing these checks, which is really helping with the traffic flow. The Hume Freeway has also been opened up to light traffic, which wasn't available yesterday. So during the peak hours of 6:30 and 9:30 in the morning and 3:30 and 6:30 in the evening, cars are allowed to travel on the Hume Freeway and pass through that checkpoint.
Actually, have you heard if many cars have actually been turned back? I know when we were speaking to one of the reporters yesterday at one of the border checkpoints, there were 3 cars that were actually turned back and told you, no, you can't get into New South Wales.
Yeah, that's right. Yesterday there were about half a dozen cars here in Albury that were turned around. 3 of those cars were actually drivers from those hotspots in Melbourne. So they were obviously turned around and sent back into Victoria. I have spoken to the local police just a short time ago, and they've said that to date it's just the 1 car this morning that has not been allowed entry into New South Wales. They say everybody else has been complying with those permits and allowed to pass through.
And there was a bit of frustration there from locals yesterday. I think the Mayor called a bit of a dog's breakfast, the setup. What's the mood like there today?
Yeah, that's right. Some people were waiting up to 2 hours yesterday to try and cross the border, and it's only a 4-kilometre stretch of road between Wodonga and Albury. Many were arriving late for work. We did speak to one person who said that they'd allowed 15 minutes to make that journey, so they were going to be quite late. When we just spoke to police before about how well things are going today, he sort of made a joke and said that now people are complaining that they're going to be arriving at work up to an hour early. So people are in good spirits this morning with the traffic flowing.
Yeah, OK. Ashley Aldridge reporting there from Albury. Now, people living on the South Australian Victorian border will only be allowed to travel 50 kilometres into South Australia. The rule comes into effect today as South Australia enforces its hard border with Victoria. Reporter Natasha Kalios joins us now from Bordertown. Natasha, g'day. So what's traffic been like there this morning?
Good morning, Joe. Well, nothing compared to the scenes we saw yesterday where people were desperate to get back into South Australia to make that midnight deadline. So we've had a few cars this morning, but at the moment it seems there is only 1. And many of these drivers already have their pre-approved essential travellers exemptions, or they live within the cross-border communities, which means that they are allowed within a 50-kilometre radius of South Australia. We spoke to one lady last night who works in SA but lives in Victoria, so she is part of that special exemption. But yeah, again, nothing compared to the scenes we saw yesterday, that's for sure.
And Natasha, are you cheating? Did you ask that one person to stay there so we'd have at least 1 car in shot for the live cross?
No, but it was funny. So a truck has actually just gone through.
Right.
No, we did.
OK, so how will police guard this crossing, the crossing points between Vic and SA? Because how many are there on that SA border?
Yeah, sure. There are around 65 crossing points between SA and Victoria, and we know that additional police resources will be deployed to help guard those cross points. However, there was talk of Defence Force assistance. We are not sure if that is going ahead as yet, but we will know more in coming days. But we did speak to officers down here this morning, and they say no Victorians have been turned away, which is a good sign. So it seems everyone is listening to the messages. The only people who have come through at this stage that we know are people that already have those pre-approved essential traveller exemptions.
Okay, Natasha Kalios reporting there from a not so busy border crossing at Border Town in South Australia.